course, in the news, like every day I see more and more. And now her memoir is coming out. And that's Britney Spears. And that leads me to our featured story of the night. Let's get it. Woo! All right, everybody. I want to talk about Britney Spears. Just, you know, it's just one of those things. Like, she's back in the news again because her memoir is about to come on October 24th, next week. And all these things, well, you know, people do interviews and they start leaking stuff, and this comes out and that comes out. And, like, there's a lot of stuff going on. People are like, well, she cheated on JT. And I'm not big into the gossip scene. I'm not. But, you know, I go to my feed and I see, like, 500. It's like, honestly, it's like every other feed is about Britney Spears saying this, Britney Spears saying that, Britney Spears saying that. So apparently people are like, well, did she cheat on JT? That was a whole thing going on. And apparently, well, she's like, well, he slept with a bunch of people, so I slept with this one guy, and that was it. And then the whole thing that came out with the freaking abortion.
She just kissed him.
Yeah, she made out on a dance floor or something, Rachel, right? They were on a dance floor. Where else do you make out? And then she like made out with them. And she said she was loyal to Justin for years. And there's only that one exception, but she said that Justin was cheating on her. This is our hot gossip time on Cruise Control. But, you know, she said the biggest thing that came down this whole memoir that's blasting the internet by fucking craze is the abortion. Now, people go through abortions. It's a choice you make as individuals, as human beings.
What a controversial show tonight, Brian.
It's a very
Jesus
controversial show. But it's a thing you go through as a couple.
Why are you doing this to women?
I mean, it's just what it is.
Brian,
I love you.
Tired.
I know. But let me finish this up.
Unbelievable.
So apparently, in The Woman in Me, she talked about how JT and her were together. They were so happy, but he was 19. She's like fucking. He was 18. She was 17, and apparently got pregnant. And he said, at this point in my life, I'm not ready to be a dad. And so they had abortion. And apparently, she did this whole thing where she did like the at-home thing, and it hurt really bad, and she was puking and throwing up. And
of course, you take the Plan B pill. That's what happens.
Strumming his guitar in the corner, laughing. I mean, she didn't say laughing, but you know, he was having a good time.
By the way, can I interrupt you really quickly? That's not an abortion. An abortion is a surgical procedure.
I know.
Like what she did was take a pill that made her very nauseous and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And you're familiar with that experience, by the way.
I am.
You're welcome.
I am. But I'm just saying.
I didn't catch this. It was the pill. She didn't have the.
Yes. It was a pill.
Yes. It was an actual abortion.
Pill.
It was a pill.
It was a pill that can cause an abortion. There's several types of abortion.
But there's no.
Hold on a second.
Wait. There's no evidence that there was actually a pregnancy.
There's not.
If there was a slip of the condom or like something that you might be pregnant, the next day you can take something called the Plan B pill. Right? So it's not an actual abortion, right? It's like maybe I might be pregnant, so I'm going to throw up for a few days and feel like shit and in order to not be pregnant. Like that, it's a very different thing.
And if that's what it really
but there is
pill. Because JT, they were saying he's not losing any sleep.
But she's talking about Plan B.
They were saying that JT is like fine. He's like, blast me all you want.
Of course he's fine.
But I mean, she said it rocked her world and she wanted to have that kid. The whole thing, it was like really big. It's like the biggest headline from
so ridiculous.
What? Chris Cocker?
No, it's ridiculous because you want to have that kid. You can't take a Plan B pill and terminate a pregnancy like at that point.
But she was upset because he didn't stay by her and like hold her through the whole thing.
They were children.
I've seen that it was like an actual, like she took a pregnancy test, was pregnant.
That's what I'm reading.
Right.
This is saying
no, but you can't take a Plan B pill for that.
No, but
that's not a thing.
Plan B though.
I don't remember the name of it.
She said they did it at home, so it was discreet, and they did it at home. And she took the pill, and she was crying and throwing up. I read the whole thing about it. She's like, I was so sick, and I was throwing up, and then he didn't care. It was like a whole thing. You can find it, McKay. I believe in you.
Yeah, McKay, get in there.
They started dating when they were 17 and 18. The pregnancy happened at 20 and 21. But from what I saw was that they had an abortion at home, but they tested, they were pregnant, and then they did that. But I was under the impression it was a procedure, and I can't find where it says it was.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, there's not at that time, especially because she's my age now. Like, there's no like pill you can take to make you flush out a kid in a second. Like, it's
and that's
the only thing I think is Plan fucking B.
And that's what I was confused by. Like,
oh my god. Oh my god!
But that's what I was confused. That's also
know this guy. Do we know Zach?
Oh,
no, we don't. We want to. We don't.
I don't.
I do.
Thank you for joining us on a
I'm very curious.
Yeah. So what I'm finding.
I'm sorry. I keep not paying attention. Oh, Queen. I wish. I desperately would love to be you.
There for a second.
So what I'm finding is that they were pregnant. They had gone to the doctor and everything, but then they said it was important. Nobody found out about the pregnancy or abortion, so we did everything at home. They took medication abortion, so it wasn't specifically Plan B.
It wasn't Plan B.
Abortion. Yeah. It was terminating a pregnancy pill. Using this pill causes cramping and bleeding to completely empty your uterus, which compares to the process of an early miscarriage. It took hours, and I don't remember how it ended.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
To be clear,
with her crying and him not caring, apparently, that's what she says.
Miscarriage.
Which is possible. It's possible.
That's what I was saying. I didn't know. I was bringing the same Plan B, but I know she said medication, and then she said it was excruciating, and it seemed like a lot to go through, especially at that age in your life. And she said he wasn't ready for it. That's why he didn't want to have the kid. He's too young, he said. And for me, it's like, we hear about Britney Spears all the time, and I feel like we know she's gone through shit. All of us know she's gone through shit.
19,
to be, but McKay, to be anybody at that age, right, where you started when she was like 15, 16 when she started, right?
Oh, yeah.
15, 16.
And you get put into that public eye, and then like Mickey Mouse Club she was on, that's where she met JT, and then she was talking about how it was like a dare to kiss him or something, and then it spiraled after that. It's like, to be in that world, it's like, it reminds me of, even though also controversial, Michael Jackson being a kid and never growing up, and then whatever happens because you never were allowed to be a kid, and then all of a sudden fucking shit happens. It's really fucked up shit. And yes, it's your fault, but it's also your parents' fault. And her parents also were not there for her, and she went through a lot of shit, and I feel bad for her because I hear this stuff that comes out. I think we all do. That's why when people see it spreads and it spreads and it spreads, and people know her as that girl next door that's like doing the "Oops, I Did It Again" video. We're all like, a baby hit me one more time. Where you just think of her being this innocent child, and she went through so much shit. And it's like, when we hear about this, we care. We care. Most of us care, but not everybody. But McKay, you hear this, and do you think that Britney got a raw deal at the end of the day? Like, she was everybody's sweetheart, and then at the end of the day, this seems like no one really fucking was there from her. Even the guy that could have been the father of her child.
I mean, even was until he wasn't. So it's, I think it's that thing, especially at that time where people were child stars growing up. I mean, obviously, this is all conjecture and things that we've, heard from the outside of the situation. But looking back at it, especially as we learn more about the conservatorship and everything else, she really, from what I've seen, just got screwed. I mean, you get the height of fame, everybody loves you, and yet, I mean, it's that thing we hear about all the time, how isolating is. Everybody loves you, everyone knows your name, wants to meet you, all those things, take pictures with you, but at the end of the day, no one's there for you. And like very clearly was taken advantage of with the conservatorship, with her as we're finding relationship. I don't know if I'd say taken advantage of, but I mean, I don't know the other than this specific situation. It did feel a little bit like she didn't really have a say, and the way she described it was kind of like he said he's not ready and that was it, which again kind of goes back to the time that it was. You didn't really have a say in society. It was kind of like, the man was in charge. They had the choice. Hard to say the man when they're 19 and 20 because they're fucking kids. But it's, I mean, I do feel like she's one in particular that I think there's a reason the meme has become so commonplace of leave Britney alone, because everybody's kind of to the point that it's like, she
Queen
was screwed for so long. Like, actually,
she did.
Leave her alone.
Yeah. She's
leave her the fuck alone.
Exactly.
But I mean, she got paid like $15 million. I think we talked about the other day about how much she got paid for this memoir. I put this out there, and she even said, like, I know it's going to cause some waves, and of course, it's going to cause waves. Telling your story, it's a lot, and I know, like the Pinico way, hears about her big time. Justin did apologize. He did, but overall, he was like not that upset.
When you look at the history of Britney Spears and her timeline of kind of losing her shit, it's easy to point to, well, maybe being forced to get an abortion at 19 was probably not great for her mental health. Probably really took a fucking toll. And then Justin Timberlake goes out and puts out Cry Me a River, being a fucking dick to her.
Yeah, you're right, Rachel. Cry Me a River, what a fucking song.
Slut shaming her on all these interviews, saying, I took that bitch's virginity, like being really gross about it publicly. Like, Justin Timberlake is a fucking creep and an asshole and a loser. And the way he treated her was disgusting. And I honestly, I think it's hilarious
they were the same age. Like
very close.
They grew up together in a weird way. So he was learning how to be a man as she was learning how to be a woman. And
at that time, like one of the hottest women at the time, you know?
Being an asshole to her about that is just not okay.
I'm just saying no one at fucking 17, 18, 19 is fucking aware of what they're fucking doing. They're idiots. They're all idiots. I was an idiot.
But their parents are the ones that are supposed to guide them.
And put out Cry
Yeah, but they don't.
22.
Yeah.
So like he was in his 20s. He was starting to be accountable for his actions. Like,
but you don't know what she put him through either.
I just think that, you know, that's something very like
whatever she did, it doesn't make it okay to publicly slut shame her.
No, I'm not. How many times? Like, Ariana Grande wrote a song about Pete Davidson's dick. Like, is that cool?
We're not talking about Ariana Grande.
That's not I'm just saying that's what artists do. They draw their dicks. They fucking draw the foot. That's what they do.
That's people's abusing their relationships and putting it on the public eye. That's not cool.
JT was going based off of PR and going for it.
They were.
I'm not saying that.
Club.
Yeah, they were both on.
That's what I meant. They were making it on Mickey Mouse Club, apparently.
They were.
Yeah, with Christina Aguilera, JC, Ryan Gosling, all of them working together.
They were all there.
Like going through that shit. It's almost like at the very end of like, I mean, that's music, but also the very end of like Hollywood, where they would like pretty much bring these kids in, like hold them and have them fall into these different like the standard, you know what I mean? And they would be like part of the machine. They were part of that. That was at the very end of it. It really was. It's like before in the 50s, they would hold people and they'd like keep you on contracts, lock you down to the studio, and make you do whatever the fuck you wanted. You were almost like, you know, you were like a part of the machine. You were stuck in there. Whatever they wanted to do, you signed your life away to them. And they were part of that. And it's like, that's the very end of it, I hope at least. But it seems like that really affected them. But Britney especially, like we're talking about shaving the head. And then she said too, she said that she found out shit when she was like in rehab. And it's like, where people are making fun of her. And it's like, cause she's going through all this shit. Like, how do you fucking cope with that as an individual, as a human? How do you live with yourself? How do you fucking fight through that? How do you win? How do you win, Keoki? Do you ever win?
No, I mean, I was just, it's funny that you were mentioning all this because we were just talking about Marilyn Monroe. It was the same kind of situation where you're like,
same shit
where you're, you know, she's this big, you know, as we see, luscious, beautiful woman, but she's, you know, someone who's a great actress, a person of her own, but being grabbed at by people on the street, producers, doing all these things where
being a woman. Like, she was guilty of being a fucking woman.
Exactly. Being a woman who knows exactly what the presence she is, knows, hey, I'm in a meeting, but they're treating you like dog meat instead of like a person where you're like, hey, you know what? Let's get this morning for you. And then Marilyn Monroe was an orphan. I did not know that. And so that makes more sense because Britney Spears similarly treated, even though she had parents, was treated like an orphan because it's a cash cow. They're just treating her like a piece of meat instead of as the person that she's supposed to be. And watching out for her, seeing like, oh, Justin Timberlake talking to her about what's going on with the relationship. Instead, her parents using that, you know, statutory legal terms to fucking keep her money going instead of watching out for her, making sure, hey, are you okay? What's going on? Is everything okay? Stop this guy. I'm going to go beat his ass up. And then we're going to have to be legal on it because you're treating my family, my blood, improperly. And so this is the same things that we have been seeing, and it's sad to see that this hasn't stopped since the 50s, since the 40s, 30s, 20s, and you know, since we've had Hollywood around. And that's why I'm always a fan of Britney, because I'm like, you know what, she's been through a lot. She was swinging knives and stuff like that. You have videos of that, but I was like, there's no kids present, so I'm okay with that. As long as I don't see any kids, somebody's watching the kids, they're okay. She's doing her own thing.
Her kids are quite grown and they live in Hawaii now.
There you go. Exactly. K-Fed's out there. The money's cutting up, but hey, you know what? He's a good dad. The kids are fine. She's slicing knives by herself. No one else is around. I'm okay with that. I'll give her one. She gets a plus for me. She's taking care of herself because she's gone through a lot, and it's very tough. And I'm not an expert, but I've just seen things like this happen.
But Keoki, you know, you've been in the business, and the same thing. And, you know, I see the chats like Queen saying every kid that worked at Disney has gone crazy. the thing that happens a lot of times, and it's like, it's also, hopefully it's addressed more and more as we work out these contracts and stuff, but Disney, for how good it is and how people love it, it's like, oh, Mickey Mouse and stuff. They get these deals and they get these deals and it's like
impression.
The deals just all they do is
impression.
But all the deals do is fuck the kids. They have to wait 3 seasons to pay them normal wages. They can pay them under. They don't have to pay them residuals. And then they cancel the show at season 3 and they start over again and keep them the same pay.
And the Zack and Cody thing. I just read about that. Where they
I worked on Zack and Cody.
No,
I worked on that shit. I was there for
that. It like resets so that they don't have to pay them the amount of like, is it syndication or whatever the term is of like you hit a certain
grimy.
But for them, McKay. It wasn't even syndication for them, McKay. It was
a new one.
It was a 3-season deal. That's what it was for Disney. They shot like it wasn't even syndication. At 3 seasons, according to the contracts, what SAG is giving, it started with AFTRA, but now what the deal is after 3 seasons, you have to pay the actors and the crew the full regular contract rates. Full regular contract rates. So that's scale right there. So you get under scale for 3 seasons, and at 4 you get to pay scale. And so what Disney has done for years, and it's affected actors and crew, is that after 3 they change the name slightly, go back 3 more seasons, do 3 more seasons under scale, and pay them whatever it is. It's under scale, not residuals.
I heard about this. It was
fucking
and it fucks people up.
From my childhoods and the last like 15 years, all these big shows. It's like, why do they keep relaunching like this? That's why they're just.
And it's because of that.
That is why. That's why. So these actors are fucking upset because they aren't making the money that they should be making, and they're also like making them attach that all these appearances and all these like special occasion things you have to be there for. It's a lot that these people have to do as kids, and that's why Disney needs to be fucking put in check. I think. Rachel, you got something there?
Made a comment about Britney having a Vegas show. She did have a Vegas show, but everything she has done for the last 15 years has not been her choice. She's been under the conservatorship. So every contract, every album, every show, every performance has been not her choice. She did not choose to do it. Her parents, her father especially, was the one running her career. So yes, she did put out albums. She did have a show. She did do all these things, but that was not her.
Exactly.
She was essentially a puppet.
Also, let's be clear. I love Britney Spears. I think she's a spectacular fucking performer, like in her early years. Like she's really like she came in fucking hot. Everybody, I don't know anyone who was in that age group that didn't fucking,
Exactly.
Yep.
No, literally no one. Literally no one.
Shout out to Walk Away.
So, good for her. Also, this is probably not going to be great. And I do love her. And I'm not saying that I don't. She has like little to no talent. She basically does a choreographed dance routine that someone choreographed for her. Right? And then she sings with things that people synthesize for her. And then songs that other people write for her.
Lady Gaga.
And no, Lady Gaga writes a lot of her own songs, by the way.
But Lady Gaga did write songs for Britney Spears.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, right. Exactly.
All right.
Yeah, Lady Gaga, who also, there's a lot of, it's like that pop weird fucking thing. So like she had a great team behind her. She had a great agent. She had a great manager. She had a great fucking choreographer. She had a great songwriter. She had a great team. She had a great fucking team. And she executed everything that they told her to do, and she fucking nailed it. And I don't hate on it. I love Circus is one of my favorite songs of all fucking time. I don't know how Toxic won a Grammy. I don't know how it did.
Toxic is great. Toxic is
grinding.
No, the video is great. The song is so fucking par, bro.
Snakes grinding.
It's song par, but it beats and moves. It still works today. It's from 2004.
No, the song is very like ish for her.
Winning.
I feel like Circus is way better. I feel like fucking even fucking Oops, I Did It Again is better than that. Like she has a lot of great fucking songs. I'm not saying that she doesn't, but that is someone who she does none of that her fucking self. You know, right. So I just feel like she has had a dream team behind her, and that has curated her success up to this point. That has nothing to do with the fact that
you need that. Who's the modern Britney Spears team?
Yeah, everyone does. But like, if you look at Christina Aguilera, or if you look at Dua Lipa, or if you look at someone who like these people who are not writing their songs and doing their things, they are like Mariah Carey's and fucking like the ballad voices, like fucking Whitney Houston. Like Britney could never ever do that, and I never thought that Lady Gaga could either. Lady Gaga, as I call her, but
Lady Gaga's been doing great. But Dua Lipa has really not have the fire that
not like
Britney
that.
has.
But she does have. She does have a really good voice. She's very palatable personality wise.
Great look.
But voice wise, better than Britney.
Regardless of Britney's talent, this is about a woman who's been abused and exploited by the industry. Regardless of her talent, regardless of what she does, she's been abused and exploited.
That's true.
Well, I was getting there. I was working my way over.
Yeah.
Just I was taking the long way, just to be clear. Because everyone's like, she's one of the greatest pop stars of all time. I'm like, yeah, sure, but not because of her, because of what she had around her. And I love her. I oftentimes listen to her music while I'm driving to work or like in the house or whatever. Like I love her. I'm not saying I don't. It's just there's like a lot of she came to fame very young. Her parents were assholes. They fucking used her and abused her. And then she took that attitude that she got at home and let it curate through her life, which is so fucking unfortunate. And it's what so many people do all the time, but we're just not in the spotlight. Like, so no one sees it happen, like she took what she was given by her parents and by her fucking famed lifestyle as a child and never really like grew up into a person like that can function in society like normally. Like she's always searching for the spotlight. She's searching for something. Let's not do that comparison, but
similar.
That's a little bit much.
It's a product of the machine, Sabrina.
Okay, sure, but that's definitely a little bit much in my opinion.
Controversial.
I don't think she's in the room with 12-year-old boys. So let's just be clear about that.
She's not.
The outcomes are very different, but the way they got there is similar.
It's the system. It's all that comes on the system.
Yeah.
Right, but you process things differently. Like,
but it always comes down to the systems, right? Like we said before, like, and I love Mickey Mouse, and I love fucking Disney. I grew up with that shit, But I feel like they get these contracts and they really hurt people a lot of times. And I've seen it. I've worked on set. We've all worked on set. We've seen what people go through for the art, for the facts that people want to make money off them. At the end of the day, it's a fucking business. And I feel bad for these people that go through all this shit, especially Britney. And that's what we're talking about Britney tonight, because she went through a lot of shit like a lot of people did in that machine, and I feel bad for her, and I hope that this memoir will be something that will give her some peace.